So let's start. As you know, we are conducting this webinar on a weekly basis. And in case you want to subscribe automatically, that means you don't need to register every week. So it's automatic registration. At the end of the webinar, you have a feedback form. So you just indicate there that I want to be auto-registered. And all the topics and all the speakers of A-class quality, and you get a lot of information. So earlier we had doctors, we had psychotherapists, a lot of people in our webinar. And if you are new to our webinar, welcome to our weekly webinar. And okay, so let's go ahead with today's topic. So today is all about SRS, okay, Supplementary Retirement Scheme. As you know, Singapore has got very limited options of tax saving. I won't say saving, it's tax deferment. So tax defer scheme. So one is the number one is a supplementary retirement scheme, which can be used by both locals as well as foreigners. So today we are going to get more information on this SRS, and more importantly, maybe most of us know about this scheme, but how to maximize it. So that is the main intention of this webinar. And I would like to welcome the speaker. Sukhada is one of our recent additions to our team at AIA. And she has been very quick to complete the required qualifications. And she has been enthusiastic in gaining new knowledge and regarding financial health and consulting. And as a qualified physiotherapist, she regularly volunteers to help her friends and acquaintances address their medical issues. And with the same spirit, she hopes to create awareness and about efficient financial planning and help her clients in their financial journey. So let's put our hands and welcome Sukhada for this webinar. And we hope you listen to it. You have any questions, please go ahead and type it out in your Q&A, and we would come back to you. And if there's anything that you want to interact, please use Q&A and chat box. Okay, now let's welcome our speaker, Sukhada. It's all yours, Sukhada. Good afternoon. Hi.
Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
Kumar.
Thanks. It's all
Yeah, thank you.
yours. So take it along. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for the warm introduction, and thank you everyone for registering for this webinar. Firstly, a very happy Mother's Day to all the lovely moms here, and hope you're having a wonderful time. Before we begin, I would like to share with you all that as part of my curriculum as a financial advisor, I have undertaken the following certifications. What this essentially means is that I'm qualified to provide services relating to financial health review and advice, life insurance products, investment linked plans, accident and health plans, and group insurance. So let's begin with today's session. Our objective today is to get an overview about SRS and how it can help to boost our retirement savings. Along the way, as Kumar said, if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat, and we'll address these questions towards the end of the webinar. And also there's a feedback form at the end of the session. I would really appreciate your valuable inputs. So retirement, they say, is the longest holiday of our lives. And most of us think that it's a distant milestone that we don't need to worry about right now. And generally, we seem to be uncertain about how we should pace ourselves while preparing to reach this destination. Now, let me ask you this question. When you retire, do you want to retire from enjoyment or enjoy your retirement? I'm sure all of us here would prefer a smooth sailing retirement. And naturally, we face some challenges in achieving this goal. Maybe we don't get enough time because of our busy schedules, or we are overwhelmed with a lot of our options available in the market, and we don't know which are the right products to choose. And sometimes we don't know where to start. And in the event, we tend to procrastinate. But wouldn't you all agree that we want to grow a larger nest in our later years? or cope with higher expenses, or both? Yes, I guess everybody wants. I mean, we can't quantify the money. We want as much as possible for a smooth sailing retirement. And that is why it becomes essential to plan in advance. Now, what are some of the reasons for us to plan for retirement? Maybe a steady income when we are not working. Some of us would say a stress-free life. We would want to travel, and we would like to benefit from the reap the benefits of our hard work and not be dependent on our children. So basically, enjoy greater financial security and, more importantly, live a life of dignity. So the next question comes in: do we have sufficient funds to last us for a span of, say, 20 or 25 years? Because now, with the advancement in medical technology, we are living longer lives. I mean, the lifespan has increased to around 80 to 85 years. And also, with inflation in the picture, the retirement funds that we save today might not be able to support our lifestyles. So, because of these two scenarios, it becomes crucial to start planning early to benefit from the effects of compounding. So, you need to have a longer investment horizon to benefit from the effects of compounding and harvest greater rewards for ourselves and our family. And this is where your SRS can help. Now, SRS is a plan, the government has come up with this plan to address the needs of our aging population. And as we all know that CPF is mandatory for citizens and PR, so you already have CPF for you. SRS, however, is voluntary, and it kind of complements your CPF and helps you to save more. It's like creating another level of income on top of your CPF, because CPF alone might not be able to maintain our elaborate lifestyles. I'm sure all of us here would agree to this. So now, before you're able to open an SRS account, you need to fulfill certain criteria. So you should be at least 18 years of age, not be an undischarged bankrupt, not be having a mental disorder, capable of managing your own affairs. So basically, any working adults, including foreigners who are living in Singapore, are eligible to have their SRS account. So now the process of opening an SRS account is as simple as opening a normal bank account, and it can also be done online. You can do it as fast as in 3 minutes online. So do we know which banks we can open an SRS account with? Can someone type in the answers if you know which banks you're eligible to open an SRS account with?
Yeah, correct. DBS. Yeah, Sumi. We got reply, DBS.
Yes, we can see some answers. I think, yeah, most of you have it. DBS, UOB, and the OCBC Bank.
Standard Chartered is one of the option given, but I don't think we can. They can open in Standard Chartered. Right?
Yeah, it is only the DBS, the UOB, and the OCBC Bank that you are eligible to have an SRS account with. So you can approach any one of the bank and let them know that you want to have an SRS account. So now you have the account, so you start contributing to the account, and there are varying amounts that you can contribute varying amounts as many times in a year, but it is subject to an annual contribution cap. So currently this cap is set at 15,300 for your citizens and SPRs, and 35,700 for foreigners. And that is the maximum that you can contribute to your SRS account annually. And additionally, there is a cap of 80,000 for total personal income tax relief, including your SRS contribution. Now we come to the main benefit of having the SRS account. The main benefit that you derive is the tax benefit, especially when your income range is more than $40,000 a year. So each dollar of SRS contributed will reduce your income chargeable to tax by $1. So now let me explain this by giving you an example. Now, John, who is a Singapore PR and whose annual taxable income, including personal reliefs, is, let's say, around $100,000. So we are comparing two scenarios where he contributes without SRS and then with the SRS contribution. So in the first scenario, his income is around $100,000. So the tax bracket that he falls into, he pays a tax of around $5,650. And now he makes an SRS contribution of $15,300, which is the tax limit for a PR. And his taxable income, you can see here, is reduced. And so he pays a tax of only $3,891. So that is a tax saving of around $1,760, which amounts to a tax saving of 31% for the year. So you can see that in a single year, you have a savings of around $1,760. So opening an account early and contributing to the account, you can contribute appreciable amounts to your retirement fund. Now I can show you one example for foreigners. Here the annual income is, say, around $150,000. And without the SRS, he pays a tax of $12,450. And with SRS, the foreigners can contribute more, that is $35,700. That is a tax savings of around $5,000. So every year you contribute to your SRS, you add to your savings. Now, apart from the above mentioned tax savings, your money that is lying in your SRS account earns you an interest of only 0.05%, because ultimately it's like having a normal bank account. So it's a normal bank interest rate of 0.05%. So in order to make your money work harder, it is worthwhile to invest these funds to earn higher returns. And the government has provided a wide range of financial instruments that you can invest in. All these have been approved by the government, including stocks, bonds, unit trust, and insurance products, to name a few. So depending on your financial needs, your risk profile, you can choose to earn higher returns and beat inflation rather than just parking your funds in the bank, because the bank interest rate, as we all know, is just around 0.05%, and your inflation rate is around 2 to 3%. So if you just park your funds in the bank, the inflation is going to erode your wealth. So it's always advisable to invest your SRS funds to earn higher returns on your money. So at AIA, we have a range of products that you can choose from, which I will be discussing with you a little bit later. So now just to show you the statistics which have been derived from the Ministry of Finance, the SRS account holders, the number of SRS account holders have been increasing over the 10-year period. More and more people are having their SRS accounts. And also, if you see here, the investment portfolio, the majority are investing in insurance products, that is around 26%, and 29% in shares, REITs, and ETFs. So now one advantage of insuring or investing with insurance products is, most of the time, if the risk happens, if something happens to you, God forbid, your capital is protected. Whereas when you invest directly in the markets, you will get returns depending on the prevailing market rates. So regardless of the market conditions, in the event of death, your loved ones are guaranteed minimally the death benefit of your fund value, the death benefit or your fund value, whichever is higher. So it's always useful to invest your funds with the insurance products, because you'll not be affected by the market rates. Now, any gains on the investments that you make from your SRS account are tax-free until you decide to withdraw the money. And even at withdrawal, only 50% of your withdrawal amount is subjected to tax, provided you withdraw at the statutory retirement age, which is currently 62 years. Now, do note that if you have already opened an SRS account and made your first penalty-free, made your first contribution, any subsequent change in the statutory retirement age will not affect you. So let's say I opened an SRS account today and I made my first contribution. And maybe in a month's time, the government decides to change the retirement age to 63. That is not going to affect me. So it becomes very important to open your SRS account early so that you can lock in your retirement age earlier. So because the withdrawals will start from the locked in retirement age. So now this withdrawals in the form of monies or investments from your SRS account are subject to income tax. That is, the 50% of the withdrawal amount is taxed. And it will be added to your other taxable income, just like your employment income or your rental income. And it will be taxed based on the prevailing tax rate. So before you have an SRS account, it's important to understand that the money is going to remain in the account for an extended period of time. And any investment gains will be credited back to your account, and they are going to be locked in there till the retirement age. Now, this is a withdrawal at the retirement age. There is a scenario where you can withdraw before your retirement age. Now, withdrawal before the retirement age, the money, 100% of your withdrawal amount will be taxed, and you incur a 5% penalty, except in two cases. Either when you're withdrawing on medical grounds, for example, if you require money for surgery, or if you're diagnosed with terminal illness, so you can withdraw the money earlier, and 50% is taxed and the 5% penalty is waived off. And the second scenario where the 5% penalty is waived off is in case of bankruptcy. But in this case, your 100% of the withdrawal amount is taxed. So all other cases will be classified as early withdrawal and will be 100% taxed and 5% penalty. And again, the withdrawal amount will be added to your taxable income while calculating your income tax liabilities for that year. Now, to give you an example, let's say if you withdraw 30,000 from your SRS account before the age of 62, you will incur a penalty of 5%, that is $1,500, and your full amount of 30,000 will also be added to your taxable income for the year. Now, foreigners can withdraw their SRS money after at and after the retirement age, or they can withdraw it earlier, provided they have maintained their SRS account for at least 10 years and they are not Singaporeans and SPRs during those 10 years, and they make one-time full withdrawal. So in that case, the 5% penalty is waived off. So there are three conditions for foreigners: that they have to maintain their SRS account for a period of at least 10 years, and they make a one-time full withdrawal, and provided they are not Singaporeans and SPRs during those 10 years. So if they fulfill all these three criteria, the 5% penalty before retirement is waived off. But even so, you need to understand that they'll be taxed 50% on the withdrawal amount. There is one more option, that they can continue to operate their SRS account even after leaving Singapore, and they can start withdrawal at the retirement age. Now, coming to the withdrawals at retirement age, you can start making penalty-free withdrawals over a period of 10 years from the first penalty-free withdrawal. As in, for example, John starts his withdrawal from May 2022, so he can spread his withdrawals until April 2032. So why this spreading out of withdrawals is important? Now, let me show you with this example. Suppose John has an income, SRS contribution, SRS funds, his accumulation is around $400,000, and he decides to withdraw at his retirement age of 42, and he withdraws $40,000 each year spread out over a period of 10 years. So only 50% of 40,000 each year is taxable, and he incurs zero tax. So spreading out withdrawals will result in greater tax savings. And also this other advantage is that it sets up a kind of a steady income stream from your SRS. So every year you're getting 40,000, so around $3,000 as your steady income monthly. Now your SRS account is deemed closed after the 10th year or after the 10th withdrawal. So after the 10-year withdrawal period, the account automatically is closed. Now, one important point to consider here is that when you make withdrawals as payouts from your life annuities, this 10-year withdrawal period does not apply. So as in, if I buy a life annuity from my SRS funds with a payout period of say 15 years or 20 years, so I will still continue receiving the annuity payouts even after the 10-year withdrawal period. So maybe if it's 15 years, 5 years after the withdrawal period, or if it's 20 years, I'll be receiving the annuity payouts 10 years after the SRS withdrawal period. So we come to the AIA solutions now. Now AIA offers savings as well as investment plans with SRS, and with a minimum single premium of $12,000 or $15,000, you can choose capital guaranteed plans, or depending on your risk appetite, you can go ahead with more adventurous options to maximize your returns. I believe that the most important point here is to choose investments that complement your portfolio. First, we help you to identify your investment gaps and diversify your portfolio according to your risk profile. And you can then layer up the retirement income to complement your CPF. So basically, we offer solutions catering to our clients' financial goals, their risk profile, because each one of us has different financial needs, different retirement goals. Maybe what is suitable to me might not be suitable to you. So we understand that, and we customize solutions according to the client's needs. So some are looking for stable income during their non-working years, and they are satisfied with safe returns. Anything which is above the SRS interest rates, and these are classified as the risk-averse profiles, and they want their capitals to be protected. And some others are willing to take more risks in order to get higher returns, which are non-guaranteed. And there are some who want a bit of both, so we can do that also. So we can adopt a multi-pot approach where we create layers of income for you to complement your CPF life. Now, the basic CPF, basic pot of CPF life will give you around $2,000 monthly income. Then we can have another layer over it, providing $2,000 of guaranteed income, which we call as the secure pot. And one more layer, which is the hedging pot to cope up with inflation. And by taking higher risks, you get higher returns. So investing in ILPs. So you can create an income of around 5 to 6K, and you know that it is coming in monthly. Mostly we observe that the people receiving pensions are the happiest because they know that they'll be getting a fixed amount every month. And it's normally also observed that elderly have money lying in the bank, but they're unsure whether it would last them through their retirement, and they're scared to even spend it. So when we invest in this kind of an approach, we know that we have this fixed amount coming in during our retirement um, years, and accordingly we can help customize your portfolio and help you plan for your retirement. Now, it's very important to start planning early. I keep emphasizing on that. The articles here show that now the inflation continues to rise. The prices of all your food, gas, electricity are on the rise, especially after the Ukraine crisis also. And so the purchasing power of money will fall. What we can purchase with $6,000 now, maybe in another 10, 20 years, the value will fall. And so the lifestyles can drop from, say, Starbucks to a Kopitam, and we don't want that to happen. So it's important to start investing early, to stay invested and stay wisely invested. And we generally tend to wait for the right products to invest in. And even if we invest, then we don't have time to monitor our investments as well. And so it's better to leave it to the experts and leverage on the partnership. At AIA, our partners are the world's largest and finest institutional managers that include the BlackRock, the Capital Group, Bailey Gifford, and Wellington Management. They are the oldest and largest management institutional managers who are managing assets worth billions and trillions of dollars. And they have seen the up and downs of the market. They have sustained through the market volatility over a long period of time. Most of them have been in the business for around 100 years, as you can see here. And this is coupled with the oversight of AIA's very own investment managers. And as you all know, AIA has been in Singapore since 1931. And we have a presence in 18 markets, and we are very strong in Asia. And so trust our strategies and our partners, and we actively manage and review your portfolio regularly. And so now to show you an example of why it is important to start early. So in this illustration, the target is to get a retirement income of around $2,000 with the retirement age set at 65 and a payout period of 10 years. So basically, we are looking at drawdown of retirement income from 65 to 75 and with an adventurous risk profile. So when you start investing at the age of 40, the premium that you pay is 37,000, around 37K, as compared to a 50-year-old who pays a premium of around 70K to get the same amount of income. So there is it's always better to start planning early because you save on the premium amount also. So basically, we come to the end of this session. In conclusion, I would like to say that opening an SRS is a long-term commitment. The tax benefits are instant, especially for the mid to high income earner. But having said so, you should be prepared to lock in your money until retirement. And I would say it's mostly suitable for someone who has a healthy CPF savings and looking to invest in a tax effective way. And more importantly, it is necessary to reinvest your SRS funds to make your money work harder. So we come to the Q&A session.
Okay, I think we have come to the end of the webinar. And thank you very much for everybody who have taken their time to attend on a Sunday afternoon. We hope this has been useful for you. And please do provide us a feedback form